what you know about purification to save the heart of a nation. Let burn a talking wood, bringing light to a talking wood. Natural law, just wisdom and love, vision truth below as a bird. Let burn a talking wood, let burn a talking wood.
Welcome to the Affirm Life Daily podcast. I'm your host, Cynthia Mitchell. As always, please visit the website, affirmlifedaily.com. Please follow on social media at Affirm Life Daily on TikTok. Well, maybe TikTok. I'm on my last final warning to get banned. But TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Affirm Life Daily. Your support is absolutely needed in this quest to spread truth, freedom, and natural law. Tonight, we'll be talking about the fact that you are divine by design. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Are you able to? Okay, great. All right. Thank you. So, like I said, we're going to be discussing You're Divine by Design, and we're going to talk about our inherent divinity and the power, responsibility, and transformation that comes along with that. So we're going to explore these four questions. What is divinity? What is human nature? How are we connected to God or source energy? And how do we tap into our inherent divinity? I wanted to start with a quote that I just thought was just very beautiful and really kind of spoke to the heart of this matter. Each person you meet is an aspect of yourself clamoring for love. And Sarah, as you're listening, feel free to jump in. And if you want to add anything or feedback, questions, comments, feel free to just jump in. Okay?
Sounds good. Thanks.
So we are one with divine source energy. This is a little clip that I wanted to play.
Walking. A goddess walking. This core being is the awareness of it is what the mystic in us seeks. Reunion with the divine, oneness with the all. A place of no separation, of pure being. And when we open to this awareness, we notice that this sense of pure being and oneness is also pure love. Here at the heart of ourselves, we are loving beings. We are love. We sense our love for all existences. We can bathe and rest in this place and awareness of love for as long as we wish. And in fact, if we can do this as often as possible, this is one of the most healing, most resourcing, most energizing things that we can do that can help us in every department of life, every aspect of our life.
So I really, really like that clip because it speaks again to the heart of this matter and it can be very hard for a lot of people to kind of wrap their head around or even accept this notion of everything being divine source energy and that we are all connected. We are all of the same source, even though we look so different and act so different, and not just us. Everything is all part of divine source energy because energy is really all that exists. We know just from physics that matter and things like this are just an illusion. So I really like the way he explains that and how powerful it is and how it can be so life-changing when we start to embrace that and really embody that oneness. So what is divinity? I always like to answer or define terms so that we're talking about the same thing. So divinity is a sacred expression of source energy or God, basically. That's what divinity is. So it is eternal. It's an eternal expression. So it can be masked. So you might look around and be like, oh, people aren't looking too divine to me. they don't look like an expression of God to me because of the way what they may be doing or acting. So it can be masked. It can be totally masked, that divinity, but it can never be altered at its core. It's still there. We are always the same energy. We are part of source, no matter what it looks like on the outside, no matter how someone's behaving on the outside, it's still at our core. We are all part of that source energy. This was a quote that I really liked a lot. You are one thing only. You are a divine being, an all-powerful creator. You are a deity in jeans and a t-shirt, and within you dwells the infinite wisdom of the ages and the sacred creative force of all that is and ever will be. So that quote really emphasizes the fact that we have this power in us, this divine creative power. I talk about that so much in my podcast, that we are creating the world we're living in. Collectively, we're manifesting this because we are powerful creators. So what is human nature? Human nature refers to our inherent way of being. Our true nature as humans has been debated, it's been obscured, it's been buried in esoteric knowledge. But now the truth is, I feel like, is rising faster to the surface because people are awakening and the vibration of this planet is changing. There's a lot changing so much, so quickly. Our nature is not limited to simply our mind, our behavior, our thoughts. Our true nature is divine at its core. What we just talked about in the last slide is divine at its core. It is all, just as source is all, everything. So the parts of our nature we choose to embody and infuse our energy represents only a very small aspect, a very limited aspect of our nature our nature on this physical plane. That's all that represents. But our inherent divine nature, it's so much more. It's so much greater. It's much deeper than what we see on the surface level. That's always there. That's always underneath everything, that divine core nature. So when we think about human nature, we have to look at it beyond just what we see on the surface, because it goes much deeper than that when we talk about our divine human nature. So how are we connected to God and source energy? God or source is all, and we are a fractal of that all. So as within, so without, as above, so below. So everything that is part of the all, that is part of source energy, that is part of God, is also within us, because we are fractals of that, like drops in the ocean. Every drop of water still has all the same elements as the entire ocean itself. It's not the whole ocean itself. It's just a drop of it. You kind of look at us the same way, as a fractal of source, or just a part of the all. So for this dense physical human experience, so to have an experience this dense, this physical, certain illusions are necessary. So we have the illusion of separation, the illusion of time, the illusion of physical matter. These are all illusions, but they are necessary for our growth in this realm, in this type of atmosphere on Earth, in this physical form. So we need these illusions for our growth, for our healing, for deep understanding of self, of God, of source energy, of all. We need these illusions, because if we were here and we just knew everything automatically, oh, I'm source, I'm God, I'm divine, that would really limit our ability to grow, because we wouldn't take this experience very seriously. But because it feels so real, if I cut my hand right now, it's going to feel very real. It's going to feel very painful. I'm going to see blood, all those things. And that allows me to really deeply engage in this experience and allow it to be something that I can grow from, probably like no other experience, which is why this is such a challenging experience for us to go through on so many levels, because this illusion feels awful damn real. But nevertheless, when you get down all to it, it's a mental creation. All is mind. That's one of the Hermetic principles. This is another video clip that I wanted to share. Talks about the human experience. I thought it was very pertinent to this
Your
topic.
Your purpose in life is to remember your true nature as a part of the all, to realize that you, as the soul, are immortal. You've always been immortal. You exist in human form currently, but you aren't human. You're a multidimensional being of light, a fragment of universal consciousness, experiencing itself through the lens of physical reality.
So again, he talks about the illusion of it all, and the reality that we see is not real, I guess you could say. It's kind of a paradox, and there's so many paradoxes that we have to work through, especially when we're going through the awakening process and trying to really learn about our true nature. But all paradoxes can be reconciled, so you have to understand truth on levels. This level up here may not be as deep as this level, so they may seem to counter each other when you speak this truth as opposed to this truth, but they do reconcile. You're just looking at different levels of truth or different levels of reality. This was another quote that really stood out to me. It speaks to our divinity as being our true essence. So we believe in the dignity of every life, the possibility of every mind, the divinity of every soul. This is our true north. So when we want to find our way to peace, find our way to harmony, find our way to togetherness, again, wholeness, it is through recognizing our own divinity. That is a very important part of that process, because when you recognize your own divinity and that we are all part of source energy, then you will start to recognize it in the things around you, the people around you, nature, the birds, the grass, the soil, the sky, everything. You'll start to see it in everything. This is all part of the same divine source. It's part of the same divine creation. And when we can start to appreciate that on a very deep level, it's truly a game changer. Let me just unmute. I see. I was doing this discussion style, Tinsy and Soul, so feel free to jump in with any comments or questions that you'd like to. It just wasn't enough people to really discuss, but feel free to jump in.
Heard. Jumping.
So, I'm sorry. Did you have something to say now?
No, but I'm at the ready.
Okay, got you. So, how do we tap into our divinity? So at the core of tapping into our divinity is surrender and remembering. And he talked about remembering a little bit in that video. That's one of the things that we do during the awakening process. We're remembering. It's not that we're changing or transforming. We're just remembering who we are at our essence, what we are at our essence, remembering our divinity. So we must surrender to our desire to control, to dominate, and to attach to religious belief systems. And when I say religious belief systems, I'm not just talking about, church-based religious belief systems. I'm talking about the religions of money, the religion of authority, the religion of hierarchy, the religion of culture, these type of religions that do so much damage because it causes so much division and so much suffering. So we have to surrender these things. We have to let them go in order to really tap into our divinity. And at the same time, while we're letting go, we're remembering our essence, who we truly are at our core, that divine source energy. So as we allow our physical self to come into alignment with our spiritual core, our divine nature will become more apparent. So you'll start automatically changing as you come to these realizations and decide to embody them. It's just your divine nature will just become more and more apparent to yourself and to those around you. They will sense that energy shift. So it's a very beautiful process if we allow this process to happen. It's something that we're programmed pretty hard to shy away from, to be scared of, to disbelieve. I can't be divine. Oh, no, that's blasphemy. These are things that have been deeply, deeply programmed into us. So it can be very difficult for someone to even listen to me talk. Sometimes I just even post about things like this. You know, people will make comments like, "Oh, you had me until you know, defamed Christ," or, you know, whatever they think that I'm doing by saying that you are divine internally. I believe Christ did say the kingdom is within. The kingdom is within. It's within all of us because we are all divine source. So eventually, you know, when you continue on this path, it will just become your default way of being, of thinking, of feeling, of living. And then once you are like really fully tapped in, that's when your existence is automatically going to be in alignment with natural law, because you're not going to look to control anyone else. You're not going to look to commit violence on anyone else. You're not going to look to defile nature. You're not going to look to do those things. It will not resonate with you in any way anymore because of where you are tapped in with your divinity. Those things would seem crazy to do because it's the antithesis of what you know that you are. So what are some things we can do to assist through this process? And this is just a short list. There's many more things you can do, but this is just a short list of some things you can do to assist with this process of recognizing that inner divinity. Meditation, breath work, psychedelics, gratitude practices, grounding, yoga. If you guys have any others, feel free to throw them in. And go ahead.
No, yeah, just mindfulness in general.
Yes.
Meaning being mindful in your conversations, being mindful in your workplace, being mindful when you're disciplining your children, being mindful in general helps awaken somebody to their inner divinity or to divinity itself, right? Another way of saying your inner divinity is to depersonalize it and to just call it divinity, because divinity happens to be the same experience universally, whether I'm experiencing it, a white person is experiencing it, a dog is experiencing it, or a tree is experiencing it. If whatever the form of consciousness is, if consciousness is awakened through a form, it's the same exact experience no matter where, because the name of God is I am. And even though I say I am as a human being, well, God also says I am. Well, Jesus also says I am. Well, the devil also says I am. Well, the demon also says I am. The angel also says I am. I am Gabriel. I am whatever. So the I am, which is what we call the seed of consciousness, which is the foundational. It's hard to put into words, but the foundation of the dynamic consciousness that you experience in form. Once that I am is transcended to the true I am, which is what gives space for the seed to grow, for the seed to even exist. Once that awakening happens, that's the same experience for any form of the one consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So mindfulness in general is something that I would add to this list for sure.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And that's just a powerful practice too, even just for keeping you in the now. You know what I mean? It's very important, the mindfulness, because it will keep you from focusing too much on your past, too much on trying to control the future. It's kind of a part of that surrender process, just staying in the now and being mindful of what's occurring right now. So yeah, no, that was a very good point. And I think that's definitely something that can be added to the list for sure. And you brought up another good point too, because I feel like another big point of, like when you were talking about, the same I am and the demon, the same I am and the devil. I think that's another major obstacle when talking about this a lot of times with people, is because they're not trying to hear that. They're not trying to hear that it's really all, that source is really all. Like, no, that that's got to be something different, because that's bad. Do you find that you run into that same thing too?
Oh
Or
yes, oh yes.
okay.
But it depends though, because even true Christians, they know what's up. They don't they get thrown off stage for the same realizations, and they word it differently, but it does depend on who you run into, and yeah, the average Joe, especially the average, let's say, very religious on the surface Joe, he's not going to resonate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's definitely been a big sticking point, is in that also is so grounded or rooted in our division mentality, our tribal mentality, division mentality, that again has just been ingrained into us so deeply. So that's I'm gonna end this with an affirmation, and then if there's any other further discussion that you all want to have, we can definitely have it. But I do want to state this divine by design affirmation. You can either read it with me out loud or in your head. I am divine by design. The negative, demeaning, or objectifying actions of others cannot diminish that. I am sacred truth and eternal spirit in human form. I will honor my divinity and allow it to guide my actions, thoughts, and state of being. I will not shrink myself to make others feel more comfortable. I will grow without limits or boundaries. I understand that the thoughts, actions, or ill intentions of others have no bearing on my sacred divinity. I live in line with natural and spiritual law. I am and always will be divine by design. So, any other questions, feedbacks, comments on the presentation?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to add a little bit to the what awakening. It was like 3 slides ago, saying it was like,
Let's
it
see.
might jog my memory, because I wanted to say something specific right before this. Yeah, that would, with the after the video.
This one?
After the video, yeah.
Oh,
Your purpose in life.
here?
After this one,
This one?
I think it's the next one. Yes,
Okay.
this one here. I wanted to say that yes, that so it relates to the what I was saying earlier, but it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
The concept of divinity can be grasped, but the reality of divinity, since it is already the real truth of all things, can never be grasped, because it would be the same thing as asking an individual who is 80, or let's say 60 something years old, to grasp the entirety of their own life, when 99.99% of that is now subconscious. There's no way one can grasp themselves, and there's no reason to grasp yourself in that total kind of way. There's just nothing. It doesn't benefit anything. It doesn't diminish anything. There's no reason. So it's not built into the design of this place for one to be able to do so, outside of the one consciousness, or God, if you will. And so, since it's not practical, it's not possible, but it's also not even practical that the reality of divinity can really be grasped by the human mind. And when I say grasped, I mean like you're able to put accurate words that really encompass the whole of the concept of divinity. Not concept, sorry, the whole of the reality of divinity. It's not possible. You can't put words to it, right? And it's not about the word. It's not about the human understanding of it. Once it becomes experiential, if it becomes experiential, which is rare in the human family, once that shift occurs, funnily enough, the only change that happens to the awakened being is a lightheartedness permeates the rest of their uh, temporary time here. You know, there's been a few written, reported about examples of people who have awakened to, let's say, the highest plateau and, like resurrected, came back and taught some people for some time and then disappeared again. Jesus being the most famous, or Yeshua, whatever, being the most famous. But besides those very few people that have come back, absolutely nothing is different about the rest of the awakened beings who awaken to some, some stage somewhere in those stages of you've awakened to the beyond and the truly divine. The only thing that happens is they become lighthearted. They stop taking anything too seriously, and they remember what the purpose is here. And one of the most powerful things from was it on the telepathy tape? It might have been on something else, but I think it was on the telepathy tapes. One of the most powerful things that I heard from somebody reporting what was said by somebody who was tapped in is that what God wants from us is not that we figure out the most advanced of sciences, is not that we figure out the most advanced of the symbolisms and the mathematics. It's not that we figure out the most advanced of the mechanics and make the greatest machines. What God, what consciousness, whatever wants from us is that we play with each other for our limited time here, learn a little while we do so, and leave here better than what we found. And that's it. At whatever speed we're going in the technological advancement, whatever speed we're going in medical advancement, whatever speed we're going in machine advancement, matters not, because the machine is made of the same consciousness. The medicine is made of the same consciousness, and whatever is made of the same you that you are. But but you are individuated, and it's what's called an organism or a being, and you have beingness. Well, that beingness is here for fun, right? It's here for fun and play.
For knowing, it's source knowing itself through all these fractals and individuations. It's source knowing itself. So no, I mean it's not about the things that you're naming. No, because those, when you're looking at it from that larger, higher perspective, that larger, higher truth, those things are completely irrelevant, nor are they real. None of this is real. It's the dream within a dream. So yeah, of course not. That wouldn't matter. But for the deepest level of knowing, which, if source is knowing itself through us. So for the deepest levels of knowing, the more we get in tune with our true nature, the deeper the experience.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a threshold that once passed, you stop seeking. Yes. And it's not by choice. It's like I found it. Like if I'm looking for my keys and then I find my keys, I don't keep searching for them, right? I knock on the door, they open the door, I don't keep knocking. There's something objective about that. And there's, of course, levels upon levels before said threshold. But once a certain threshold is passed, well, now you're in the house. You don't have to go in the house anymore. You don't have to knock anymore. And that place is where it's sort of revealed on the deepest level, you could say, where all of your cells know this, if you will. Some people say like all of my cells were blah blah blah. That we're not here to advance in these kind of ways, like we already talked about, in these kind of ways. We are here to have fun with each other and to love each other and to grow, but like not in the advancement kind of way. To grow as in a tree is growing. To grow as in a flower is growing. To grow as in a family is growing. And to do that with each other. And that's the long and short of it.
Yeah.
Not just the long short of it. That's
Yeah,
everything.
and I don't think those two things necessarily can't coexist together, because sometimes that those type of advances can allow you to maybe love someone longer because you had an
Right.
advancement that kept them healthy or whatever. I don't think they're necessarily opposed where you can't have both. But I
Right.
totally get what you're saying, and I agree with you saying. I think we can get so caught up in in what we think we're supposed to do here, what we think we're supposed to accomplish, and winning and being the first to do this and the best at this, and that we've missed most of the beauty of the entire experience, unfortunately.
Right. Right.
You
We
know,
were
I believe it's very
marching when we should
any
have
of
been
it's okay
dancing.
with the love. I'm sorry, go ahead.
My bad. I said right. We were marching when we should have been dancing.
I love the way you put that. Exactly. Exactly. So you have so many people transitioning from their body, from this plane, and missed all the joy, all the love, all the things that really, really matter. They missed it. They missed it all. They were completely tapped out. So that's what I'm talking about like tapping into your heart center. Because when you live your life, when you look at your life, and when you interact with people, when you interact with nature, and you interact with the world from your heart center, as opposed to just your logic or your mind or your belief systems, you're on a totally different wavelength, and you're going to get so much more. Like, I get such beautiful, just tingly experiences from the littlest things, because it's where I'm coming from when I have the experience. And someone else may have that experience, but like, what's that special about that? It's about where you are when you enter the experience. That's going to determine what you get out of it,
100%.
Yeah. So no, those are very good points. Very good points.
Back at you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So the next podcast will be The Dark Side of AI and Big Tech with my special guest, Derek Bartolocelli, and that'll be on October 8th at 7 p.m. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Definitely. His last funnel presentation was on AI, and he says he's learned so much more even since then. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. That should be a very good one. So hopefully you can join us for that. Any other questions, comments, anything like that?
No, I didn't want to interrupt. That was
go ahead.
Very well done.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that so much. And so that'll be it. That's it then for me. If there's no other questions, comments, as always, please visit the website, affirmlifedaily.com. Follow on social media and YouTube at Affirm Life Daily. Please like, share, subscribe, all the things. Help me on my mission to spread truth, love, freedom, all the good stuff for humanity, because we can do better than how we're doing right now. We honestly can. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for those who joined live. I appreciate you. Infinite grace, love, and gratitude. You all have a great evening.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you, love.